Commonwealth Bank Trophy, and we're in Adelaide for the match between the Ravens and the Sydney Sandpipers. Hello and welcome to Etsa Park in Adelaide. I'm Simone Thurtell. It's good to have your company on this Sunday morning. Well, it should be a good workout for the Adelaide Ravens against the Sydney Sandpipers, which is exactly what they need leading into the semi-finals, which of course start next week. Let's take a look at how the two teams will run out on court. Borlays and Huppets match up against Finnan and Roberts. In the mid-court, Cobb, Grant and Henderson will take on O'Connor, Moore and Avellino. Sally Browning and Alison Tucker have the job for the Ravens of shutting down Natalie Sloan and Megan Anderson. On the coaching bench, Pat Micken for the Ravens and Mark Corbett for the Sandpipers.
The Mads Adelaide Ravens are really going out to play really hard in attack, and defensively we're going to work together as a unit. Personally, I think I'm up for a really tight game. I haven't played Kirsten Moore before, so that should be an interesting tussle there. But also Natalie Avellino on their side is a very skilled player, so we'll be looking at shutting her down, but we're definitely looking forward to the semi-final next week.
Obviously, the Sandpipers' incentive tonight is to just go out and put out a good performance. We've had a pretty lacklustre season, and you know, being the last game, obviously we want to go out with a win. The Ravens are going to be out for a strong game going into the semi-finals. So really, we're just looking for some good individual and team performances.
Kirsten Moore, the centre for the Sydney Sandpipers, gets us underway in the first quarter. The Sandpipers in spearmint green and blue and running right to left on your monitors. The Ravens, of course, in red, black and yellow.
First miss to Sloan, rebounded by the Adelaide Ravens. Taken there by Audine Cobb. She steps it back onto the top of the circle. Fiona Huppert switches it over to the pocket. Grant takes it. Heard at the intro, it's Grant's first encounter against Kirsten Moore, and the Ravens score the first goal here against the Sydney Sandpipers.
Fiona Huppert's with that goal. Last week, she had a sizzling match, 20 goals from 21 attempts at 95%. I'm sure she'll be looking to continue that form into tonight's match. She's got a good battle going with Anna Colbeck to get the second shooting role on court for the Ravens. Jenny Borlays takes the lead for the Ravens to 2 in the early stages of the first quarter. Jenny Borlays also had a great match last week, 38 from 40 at 95%. It's all good news for Pat Micken from her shooters coming into the semi-finals, as we see a great intercept taken there, and the Ravens quickly onto attack.
Henderson with the good hands. She got the intercept. Borlays, the peripheral wasn't that good. Grant was going to the left. There's coach Pat Micken, the Adelaide Ravens. Huppert's quickly over to Borlays. Penalty shots taken by Borlays, so Borlays has put 2 up and has been successful. The Ravens leading by 3. Sydney Sandpipers yet to open their scoreline.
Danny Grant onto Cobb. Borlays, quick bounce pass onto Grant. Again, a quick feed into Hupperts. And that one drops in for Fiona Hupperts. So a quick break here to the Adelaide Ravens. 4-0, they're up. Sandpipers with the centre, and they'll really want to score on this trip down the court to settle themselves down, get themselves onto the board. Avellino with the ball. Float pass over to Sloan. And Natalie Sloan with the first goal for the Sydney Sandpipers. Cobb looks for an option, finds Henderson onto Grant. Borlays. Over to Cobb, into Borlays. And a steady shot from Jenny Borlays. 5-1, the Adelaide Ravens over the Sydney Sandpipers.
Ravens opening up their forward line quite well. Roberts and Finnan need to tighten up on Hupperts and Borlays. Down the other end for the Sandpipers. Anderson puts it up, not successful.
Great work from Alison Tucker to bat that pass. But possession remains with the Sandpipers, but it's been turned over, and quite a soft turnover from the Sandpipers. Hupperts at the other end for the Ravens.
Roberts went out, it was a bit too late on that encounter. So penalty stands outside of the circle. Grant will centre it to the top of the circle. She has 2 shooters, takes the Borlays option. Hupperts is there. She wants to throw it on, but Borlays takes it. Borlays 4 from 4. Adelaide Ravens 6. And the Sandpipers on 1.
And the crowd appreciate it. Cobb into Borlays. Great pass.
Good move from Borlays. She split the goal line there. She took Roberts the other way and dodged back on her.
7-1, the Adelaide Ravens roll on. Anderson now for the Sandpipers into Avellino. Finds Sloan. Little hard, the shot from Sloane, but she manages to rebound her own shot and gets it on the second attempt. 2 goals from 4 attempts for Natalie Sloane. Adelaide Ravens 7 with a 5-goal lead over the Sandpipers on 2.
Sandpipers putting up 4 attempts to date. Only scoring 2 of those, 50% scoreline at the moment for them. Shooting average. Anderson takes them to 3 now. 7 plays 3.
The last time these two teams met was in round 7, and it was the Sandpipers 55 over the Ravens 52 on that occasion. Things have changed a lot in the competition since round 7 as Sloane throws that one away.
Anderson had the forward option, but it wasn't used. Players set up here. There's Sloane. Anderson had moved forward, but Sloane wanted to push her back into the pocket.
Sally Browning onto Cobb. Back to Browning, looking for an option.
Audine Cobb working very high up the court in the sense that she's working in the forward line to the centre third.
Quite a solid clash there with Christine O'Connor. Unintentional, both girls going for the ball.
Comes the ball, O'Connor going for it. Good attempt. Cobb goes with her. Just a trip there on Audine Cobb's end shoes, and down she went.
Jennifer Borlase, 6 goals from 6 attempts so far in the match. Adelaide Ravens 8, the Sydney Sandpipers 3. Borlase out of the circle, back to Grant.
Off hands there, Roberts, I think it was on that occasion. So staying with the Ravens is a goal line throw in. Huppert's to take it. She has Cobb setting up on the advantage. Good move from Cobb. Played it in very quickly. Huppert's had the position and rebound.
Contact is on Vicky Roberts there. Borlase will have the shot. Oh, and that one, I think the crowd on the opposite side were blowing that one in. And it drops in for Jennifer Borlase. She keeps her 100% record at this point. 7 goals from 7 attempts. Adelaide Ravens 9, the Sydney Sandpipers 3.
We've got a chill factor in here, now we've got a win factor as well. So.
Sloane there for the Sandpipers. Brings that difference back to 5. Borlase, good ball to Huppert's. Grant bounces it in for Borlase. Roberts with a good stretch there, but she doesn't manage to put Borlase off. So Jenny Borlase, 8 from 8 at 100%. Fiona Huppert's 2 from 3 at 66%.
Good work there from Tucker. She came through, she deflected, pushed it onto Grant. Now Audine Cobb moves forward. Borlase and Cobb. Huppert's said, look at the penalties. Adelaide Ravens have only got 1 against them. Sandpipers, incredible in this first quarter, 9.
There's 8.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Adelaide Ravens 11, Sydney Sandpipers 4. Too many mistakes from the Sandpipers early on in this quarter. Cobb up to Huppert's, does well. She was closely defended from Roberts.
Good attempt by Roberts, but she has contacted on the follow-through. Huppert's isn't taking any advantage with extra space. She took the shot and she now doesn't have the rebound. Roberts does.
She gets it away quickly to Christine O'Connor. The Sandpipers now through Finnan. Out to Avellino. Into Anderson. And a good goal there from Megan Anderson. 11-5 now the score. Sandpipers with the centre. Sloane. Across to Moore. High ball back into Sloane. She steadies. And that one drops in for Natalie Sloane. 4 goals from 6 attempts. Adelaide Ravens 11. Sydney Sandpipers just clawing a few back. They're on 6 now.
Henderson, long drive to Huppert's. Leaving Borlase to work the circle, and she does it well. She had Roberts and Finnan both forward off her. Took the back space. Borlase, sensational shooting. 10 from 10 in this first quarter. Ravens leading by 6, 12 plays 6.
7 minutes remaining in this first quarter. As the Ravens come away with it again. Henderson onto Cobb. Borlase, great back pass. She didn't even catch it onto Grant. Good pass into Huppert's. And she finishes off a very good passage of play from the Adelaide Ravens. And Fiona Huppert's acknowledges her teammates.
Here we go. There's Tucker. Onto Grant, steps it on quickly. Henderson, Cobb, waits for Borlase, taps it onto Grant, and Grant sees the space behind Fiona Huppert, passes it off to her.
Finnan onto Moore for the Sandpipers. Into Anderson. There was a touch from the Ravens, but Sloan still controlled it. And it's all net for Natalie Sloan. Natalie Sloan, 5 goals from 7 attempts at 71%. Megan Anderson, 2 goals from 3, 66%.
Oh, great work.
Bullet pass there from Avellino.
Finished off there by Sloan. Going into attack now. Sandpipers push it on. Avellino, great pass. You'd think that Anderson would take it, but no, Sloan option was used, and she puts it in for the Sydney Sandpipers.
13 plays 8. The Sandpipers with possession through Roberts onto Finnan. Bounce pass to Moore. O'Connor, Avellino quickly releases onto Moore. Anderson back to Moore. Moore finds Anderson, but can't control the ball. And it is a turnover to the Ravens.
There's Anderson on to Moore, and Moore is offside. I think she was playing more for a contact, but umpire's not having a bar of it.
The other end, Jenny Borlase. 11 from 11 from Jennifer Borlase in this first quarter. The Adelaide Ravens 14, the Sydney Sandpipers 8. Moore onto Avellino. Long ball to Sloan, but it was too high and too far. Natalie Sloan needed to grow another couple of feet if she was going to pull that one in. So it's another turnover for the Sydney Sandpipers. Turnovers 8 for the Sandpipers, 4 for the Ravens at this point. But the penalties at this stage, 11 the Sandpipers, the Ravens only 2. Ravens enjoying a lot more possession in this first quarter. Cobb into Huppets. Contact on Finnan. Fiona Huppets, 4 goals from 6 attempts. 15 the Adelaide Ravens, the Sydney Sandpipers 8.
Umpire Nola Callan indicating it's a Ravens centre pass. Grant will take it. Cobb breaks the transverse line. Huppets did not follow through. Good hands from Finnan. Anderson was there to crumb it. Avellino again playing against some of her former teammates. Natalie Avellino establishing quite a friendship here with a lot of Adelaide players, and that goal stands for the Sydney Sandpipers. They're on 9, trailing the Ravens. They're on 15.
Natalie Sloan doing so well so far for her team. 7 goals from 9. That one just rims out, but she gets it back again. 8 goals from 11 for Natalie Sloan. Adelaide Ravens out by 5 over the Sydney Sandpipers. 15 plays 10. Cobb onto Borlase. High ball over to Cobb.
Roberts and Finnan both paying attention there to Huppets. Borlase was roaming the circle.
Huppets now with a throw in from the baseline. She finds Grant on the other side of the circle. Float ball into Borlase, who's complaining about the treatment that she received from the defenders.
Roberts is holding the left side of her face. So
looks like she got a, as we have a look, bit of an accidental elbow to the face of Roberts as Borlase goes down. Huppets with the goal for the Adelaide Ravens. Difference now 6 with 2 minutes 40 remaining in this first quarter. Avellino onto Anderson, into Sloan. Moore and Henderson had a bit of a battle for the ball, but it ended up in Sloan's hands.
Oh, Tucker was right on that very quickly. She's picked up a bit of speed since coming back from her injury, but she picked up a contact as well. There goes Tucker, eyes on the ball. It looked pretty good from this angle here, but in defence of the umpires, Nolan Callan on the back of that.
Natalie Sloan keeps the Sydney Sandpipers in touch. Difference back to 5. They haven't seemed to be able to break the 5 margin in the past couple of minutes. 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
I was to say Simone Huppets making a few mistakes here in the last minute or so. She's mishandled on a few occasions.
Yes, the turnover's creeping up for the Ravens. They've now got 6. An advantage goal called there for Natalie Sloan. So they have broken that 5-goal difference. 16 plays 12. Moore. Good ball into Sloan. Natalie Sloan definitely on fire in the latter stages of this quarter. The difference now of 3. The Adelaide Ravens have gone off the boil a bit. The Sandpipers have coming home in the latter stages of this first quarter.
They started very strongly, the Adelaide Ravens. They came out firing. All players were creating space and moving to the space, and the ball was moving with great efficiency in the forward line. And defensively, Tucker and Browning and Henderson were shutting down in the early minutes. But the last 5 minutes, the Sydney Sandpipers have worked their way back. They're now trailing by 4. 17 plays 13.
Another great quarter from Jennifer Borlase. She's still at 100% at this point. 12 from 12 as the Ravens come up with possession. Cobb into Borlase. Roberts paying her a lot of attention and just backpedals and falls over at that point.
The advantage is with Borlase under the post. Finnan contacted. It goes back out where the contact occurred. Borlase puts it up, rims out. Hupperts takes a hard dive. But back with Borlase, a certainty here, and she does sink it for the Adelaide Ravens. They're on 18 now. Sandpipers 13.
Less than a minute to go in this first quarter of the last round of the Commonwealth Bank Trophy. Danny Grant does well to keep that ball in play as she was going out of court. Hupperts now steadies for the shot, and that one drops in. As the timekeeper gets out of her chair, Fiona Hupperts, 6 goals from 8 attempts, 19 plays 13. The difference is 6. Sandpipers will have to be quick if they want to reduce that to 5, but in fact, time has been called for the end of the first quarter in this match between the Adelaide Ravens and the Sydney Sandpipers. At quarter time, the score 19 to the Adelaide Ravens, the Sydney Sandpipers 13.
Different start for tonight's game. These Ravens coming out strong in the first quarter and also the second quarter, unlike last week against the Firebirds. We saw the Firebirds have a really good tussle against the Ravens early in both quarters.
Finnan onto Avellino. Anderson. Moore. And great hands and anticipation from Danny Grant. She gains possession for the Ravens as they move quickly down court through Cobb. Onto Hupperts, cross to Grant.
Goalkeeper.
Roberts has been pulled up for holding. Borlase in front of the goal. She makes it from there, Jenny Borlase. Adelaide Ravens 26, out by 11 over the Sydney Sandpipers 15.
Borlase has shot 16 from 17 attempts. Good move there. Sloan. Obstruction advantage goal stands, and that was Tucker with the obstruction called against her. So 10 goals still the margin, 26 plays 16. Cobb having some good touches throughout the course of this game. She really is opening up the spaces there in the forward line for Borlase and Hupperts. Roberts and Finnan there sticking like glue onto both Hupperts and Borlase. They really need to shut those 2 shooters down. They're having quite an effect on this game.
10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. The Ravens 26 make that 27 over the Sydney Sandpipers 16. Moore onto Avellino, who goes without it.
Contact goal defender.
And the contact is on Finnan, so the Ravens with the ball through Henderson. Onto Hupperts.
Oh, great pass there from Hupperts to Borlase. Well placed.
And the score, 28 for the Adelaide Ravens, the Sydney Sandpipers 16. The ball is with Henderson. Contact on O'Connor. So Cobb with the ball, moves away from O'Connor, into Borlase, out to Grant. But it's a turnover to the Sandpipers. Avellino out to O'Connor. Finnan. Avellino heavily tagged there. And the throw-in, it's a wasted opportunity there for the Sandpipers. They didn't settle themselves and regroup, and the turnover was to the Ravens.
Good attempt there from Avellino. She tried to keep the ball in play, had a good touch, ran out of court space. Tucker now onto Browning. Space behind Henderson. She has the height advantage. Grant centres it. Great pass there from Grant to Hupperts. Borlase works it back to Cobb, who in turn works it back to her, and great shooting there from the Ravens. So that started from the sideline. Ravens opening it up. Borlase 19 from 20 attempts. So Fiona Hupperts has scored the other 10 for the Adelaide Ravens, and another turnover again going the way of the Ravens.
Adelaide Ravens 29, the Sydney Sandpipers 16. Sandpipers on the attack through Moore onto Avellino. Out to Sloan and back to Moore. Anderson with the ball.
Good work from Tucker. Played it back into Browning. The setup there by Avellino, and she did incur the penalty. Speaking of penalties, the Adelaide Ravens have only had 9 called against them. Sydney Sandpipers 19.
Intercepts we can see 2 for the Ravens and 4 for the Sandpipers. And the turnovers double for the Sandpipers, 18 to the Adelaide Ravens 9. Giving away too much possession there. The score, the Adelaide Ravens 30, the Sydney Sandpipers 16. And this is what Pat Micken would be expecting from her Adelaide Ravens. They need to step up a notch before the semi-finals.
There's Hupperts again. Ball ace was free, option not used. Grant right to the advantage there. Ball ace front position and scores for the Ravens.
And the Ravens have indeed managed to force the Sandpipers into another turnover.
Good attempt there by Roberts. Pat Micken again on the sideline. She looks a bit calmer at the moment. Was a bit tense there in that first quarter. She wasn't really chatting to herself. She does have her assistant coach next to her.
Sloan with the throw in for the Sandpipers. Finds Anderson. Under 7 minutes remaining in the second quarter. As Megan Anderson gets that one in. Doesn't matter what age you are, if you can be a supporter of netball.
Contact.
Cute little supporter too.
Very cute supporter. One day maybe she'll grow up to be an Australian player. Danny Grant at the other end.
Ravens.
Throw into the Ravens. Finnan was the last one who touched it across the baseline.
Contact keeper, shuttle pass.
Solid contact there from Roberts on Borlase.
Destruction, advantage throw.
Borlase with the goal, 22 goals from 23 attempts. 32 plays 17. This match really is getting out of hand for the Sandpipers. The Ravens are running away with it.
Oh, and Tucker. Oh, I felt that for her. She kept it to 2.9 and then lost her on the baseline.
Shooting stats, Natalie Sloan, 15 from 19 at 78%. Megan Anderson, 3 from 6 at 50%. That's below her normal standard. She hasn't put many shots up, though, tonight, with Sloan taking the majority of the shots for the Sandpipers. Great take from Natalie Sloan. And a solid goal.
Still good performance there by Sloan, 16 from 20. She just hasn't had as many opportunities coming down the court. There's been lots of turnovers, the reason why the Sydney Sandpipers aren't scoring, but Sloan has got her eye and she's got her rhythm going.
Well, at this stage, the penalties are for Sandpipers 25, the Ravens 10. That's the telling statistic so far in the match. Finnan out to Moore, onto Anderson, into Sloan. Didn't want to shoot from out there and has missed it, but very athletically has managed to bring the ball back in. But in fact, it's been deemed that it did go over the baseline. So with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, 33 for the Ravens. Plays the Sandpipers 19.
Both Browning and Anderson setting up on the goal circle. Long, hard ball to Anderson. She centres it through the corridor. Hupperts keeps the focus on Borlase, but the attention coming from Finnan and Roberts. Goal line throw in. Hupperts takes it. Ravens still with possession. Hupperts taking the side stance there to get a better view of the post. Another one to the Adelaide Ravens. 34 plays 19. There's the stats, 95% for Jennifer Borlase.
Kirsten Moore will get us back underway. Onto Avellino. Sloan.
She wanted to get the ball away quickly, but Anderson was covered. But it's still possession as the Sydney Sandpipers need it in the forward line, and they score. 34 plays 20, so the margin now back to 14.
Cobb onto Borlase, out of the circle, looking for an option. Contacts on Danny Grant, so that one goes against the Ravens. The Sandpipers through Roberts onto Finnan. Moore out to O'Connor. Avellino. High ball to Sloan, who does well to stick the hand up and pull it in. And again, Avellino back to Sloan. Good work there from the Sandpipers. Just not finished off by Natalie Sloan, and the rebound to Sally Browning.
It's a good move there because Anderson actually set the screen for Sloan, so Defenders had nowhere to move. Grant playing for the free and does get it. She was advanced by Moore. Ball ace setting up now. Probably take the step in as she does. Puts it up and in once again for the Adelaide Ravens. We've seen her do that all night tonight. 24 from 25 for Jennifer Ball ace. 35-20 overall score.
Avellino to Moore. Sloan. Long ball to Avellino. Henderson does well to get a hand to it, but it goes over the baseline. So Anderson will throw it in for the Sandpipers. Bounce pass into Sloan from Avellino. Natalie Sloan, 17 goals from 23 attempts. Adelaide Ravens 35, the Sydney Sandpipers 21.
Huppert's good stretch, ball ace forward. Roberts behind, Grant keeps onside. Moore went offside, so there's the penalty pass back out to Grant. Good positioning there. Ball ace once again with the space, takes it well, 36, plays 21 with just on 2.5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter.
Fennon onto Moore. Anderson into Avellino, who was guarded by Henderson. Managed to get to Sloan, who dished it off without looking to Anderson, who wasn't quite anticipating it, and it goes over the baseline. So Alison Tucker with the throw-in for the Ravens. Over a third is the call. So a turnover to the Sandpipers immediately. O'Connor with the ball.
Should wish Chris O'Connor happy birthday for tomorrow. She turns 24.
And she'll have the day off. No training. She won't be worried about next week's match at this point. Borlase onto Cobb. Cobb did well with the stretch there to regather that ball. Borlase just a little hard with the attempt, but manages to get it back. 26 goals from 28 attempts for Jennifer Borlase. 37 the Adelaide Ravens play the Sydney Sandpipers 21 with 1.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Huppert's back to Grant. Long option again, sent the circles free. Huppert's moved in very quickly. And it is a baseline throw-in. No, I think must be a contact. Yes, it was. Huppert's. Borlase with the arm extended, waiting for the pass off, but Huppert's is going to take the shot instead. So Fiona Huppert's 12 from 15, Adelaide Ravens 38, Sydney Sandpipers 21.
Sloan.
Oh.
Back to O'Connor. She couldn't find an option around the circle, and it was just too high and a little wild for O'Connor. Sails over the sideline.
Yeah, it would have been better to take an option around the top of the circle, at least. Would have been a better percentage, perhaps falling the way of the Sydney Sandpipers, but nonetheless, Adelaide Ravens have it in their forward line.
Borlase. As the Adelaide Ravens continue their demolition of the Sydney Sandpipers, 39 plays 21. Cobb onto Borlase, quick hands onto Grant. Deflected off the Sandpipers, but Borlase regathers. And it's all net for Jenny Borlase. And the young supporters of the Ravens here, they don't care how many goals the Ravens are up by, just as long as their team is winning. As the timekeeper gets out of her chair, makes her way to the umpire. That's the end of the second quarter, and it was a great quarter for the Adelaide Ravens. At halftime, the Ravens 40 lead the Sydney Sandpipers 21. Team statistics from the first half, and it's the first statistic, the penalties, that tells the story. 31 penalties against the Sandpipers, 12 against the Ravens. Intercepts, they're relatively even, 4 to the Sandpipers, 2 to the Ravens. Turnovers, 24 to the Sandpipers, 13 to the Ravens. Too many turnovers there from the Sandpipers, giving the Ravens too much possession. The attempts, 15 more for the Ravens, 45. They've converted 40 of those attempts, and the Sandpipers 30 have converted 21. There's been a few changes to the teams. We'll get into them as the third quarter gets underway. Danny Grant for the Ravens. Anna Colbeck has come on for Fiona Huppert's in the shooting position.
Stats for the second quarter. There are 2 the second quarter, 28 from 30 for Borlase, 93%, 12 from 15. Huppert's 80% for the Sandpipers. Sloan, 73%, has only missed 5. and Anderson 4 from 7, 57%. So that's 6 she's missed. There goes my bats again.
Well, Fiona Hupperts, I'm sure, has just been benched by Pat Micken to get Anna Colbeck into the match and also have a bit of a run into the semi-finals. There she is, Anna Colbeck. The other change that has been made is to the Sydney Sandpipers. Sharon Finnan and Vicky Roberts have just swapped positions. Finnan now in goalkeeper, Roberts in goal defence. On to Cobb. Contact is on Moore. Grant with possession for the Ravens. High floating ball that was meant for Borlase. Finnan managed to get a tip to it though.
Colbeck was the front option and wasn't used. Grant didn't sight her, was waiting for Borlase to make the move on the goal line. Still staying with the Ravens, Borlase. There's the tough defender in Finnan to combat, and she really is quite a tough defender. Sharon Finnan never gives up at any stage. 47 plays, 23. Just on under 9 minutes remaining this third term.
Good quick play from the Sandpipers. Quickly through the hands and on to Anderson, who does the right thing and puts it in for her team. 47 plays 24. Colbeck. High stretch from Finnan, but it's been batted back to Colbeck. 48, the Adelaide Ravens, the Sydney Sandpipers 24.
Avellino quickly onto Sloane Moore. Good option. Great work there from the Sydney Sandpipers. A few more of those and they will be back in this game. It was easy access for that forward line. Here we go. Quick work. Sloane takes position again. Running style shot to the post.
At the other end, Jenny Borlase has put another one in for the Ravens. 49 plays 25. Sloane.
Contact under her. Goal defender.
Contact.
Pass inside.
Called on Browning. Anderson sets it up.
And the goal is good for Megan Anderson. 49 plays 26. Natalie Sloane 18 from 24 at 75%, and Anderson 8 from 13 at 61%. Her percentage slowly creeping up as the match continues.
Ravens.
Danny Grant with the ball for the Ravens. High ball across to Borlase. And Jennifer Borlase brings up the 50 for the Adelaide Ravens. 34 goals from 38 attempts at 89% for Borlase. Anna Colbeck, who's only come onto the court in this third quarter, 4 from 6 at 66%.
Oh, good extension there from Sloane. Tucker overran, didn't recover. So Sloane, 19 goals from 25 attempts, 50 plays 27, so 23 in favour of the Adelaide Ravens. Make that 24 now, 51 plays 27. That was Anna Colbeck. Long bomb.
Sorry, Monica, under 7 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
Finally just side.
Anderson onto Avellino. Back to Megan Anderson, who's had the opportunity to take a lot more attempts at goal in this third quarter. 51 plays 28. The Ravens still with a commanding lead. Cobb back to Browning. Anderson got in the way. Cobb chases hard. The throw-in will be for the Sandpipers. O'Connor, long ball to Anderson, into Avellino. Advantage contact was played.
Oh, well done.
Good insight there. And Natalie Sloane with her 20th goal for the match. The Adelaide Ravens 51, the Sydney Sandpipers 29.
Quite an athletic player, Natalie Sloane. I've been rather impressed with her play throughout season 98. Young player. Fairly accurate as well, but rebound going the way of the Ravens. Henderson has it. Cobb a long way down court. Good tip there from Avellino.
And the throw-in from the sideline. Trudy Henderson onto Grant. Colbeck. Good extension from Jenny Borlase. Brings up her 35th goal of the match, Jennifer Borlase. The Ravens have 52 on the board. Sandpipers 29. Cobb. Well, Jenny Borlase double-teamed there by Finnan and Roberts.
Wasn't a good option there from Cobb, but she comes away with a penalty shot. Jennifer Borlase 53 plays 29, just over 5 minutes remaining in this third term. And Moore gets the play underway for the Sydney Sandpipers. Anderson came out, took the centre pass. Avellino was there, back to Anderson, and a shot to the Sydney Sandpipers. So still effective in the forward line if they could just keep possession or gather a few more opportunities and send it down there. So they're looking at their defenders to turn over a few more.
Difference is 23. Cobb onto Borlase. High floater over to Colbeck. Wants to improve the position. Uses Cobb. Back into Borlase. Jennifer Borlase, 37 goals from 41 attempts. 54 plays 30. Moore into Anderson. Taking a more active role, Megan Anderson. 11 goals now out of the 3 quarters. 54 plays 31.
17 attempts to Megan Anderson. Good take there from Roberts. Moore, O'Connor mishandles, so another turnover. Fell the way of Cobb. Ravens through Anna Colbeck and Danny Grant. Work it back into the circle. Colbeck, her goal drops in, pops back out. Borlase takes the rebound. And another one to the Adelaide Ravens. 55 plays 31.
15 goals for the Ravens in this third quarter so far. And they've got 3 minutes 30 to score some more.
No goal defender.
Colbeck lines up with Roberts out of play, but the shot is short. Finnan with the contact on Borlase. And that one goes in for Jennifer Borlase. So the Adelaide Ravens 56, the Sydney Sandpipers 31. As we look at the penalties, just an amazing statistic that out of 3 quarters, the Sydney Sandpipers 41 penalties, the Adelaide Ravens 16. Intercepts relatively even, just 2. The difference, Ravens 6, Sandpipers 4. In the turnovers, 32 to the Sandpipers, 17 to the Ravens. So a lot of free possession given away by the Sandpipers to the Ravens in these first 3 quarters of the match.
That really is a mind-blowing statistic. 41 penalties against the Sydney Sandpipers as we see them score. 57 plays 32. Coach Mark Corbett would have to look at that and would have to, for season 99, work on the reasons that they're getting picked up so much. There's Coach Mark Corbett and manager Terry McCormack, the Sydney Sandpipers. You cannot afford to give that much away.
They showed potential at the beginning of the season, the Sydney Sandpipers, but really fell away, as we see. Great anticipation from Alison Tucker. And their performances towards the end of the season have really just been disappointing. They've got a lot to work on in the off-season. O'Connor throws that one away. Ravens again now on the attack. Grant onto Henderson.
Defensively, the Ravens are working as a wonderful unit, as one in unison with Browning, Henderson and Tucker, all moving in line with the ball.
O'Connor onto Avellino. It was good work from Roberts in defence for the Sandpipers to regain possession for the Sydney team. But off target, Anderson with the shot. So Grant onto Cobb. Colbeck
Barnage offside and
onto Cobb.
Over the face.
O'Connor pinned for the penalty. Cobb into Colbeck. It doesn't take much time to put that one up, and the Adelaide Ravens 59, the Sydney Sandpipers 32. The Adelaide Ravens know that they've got whoever they play next week in the semi-finals, the top 3 teams, the Swifts, the Phoenix and the Thunderbirds, all very tough opponents. They know they had to step up a couple of gears tonight to get them in preparation for that semi-final, as Borlase brings up the Adelaide Ravens 60th goal in the match. The Adelaide Ravens 60, Sydney Sandpipers 32.
To the last minute of this third term, and I wonder if Coach Markov will make any more changes.
Ravens.
Leading into the 4th quarter.
Hold time.
We haven't seen Katrina McCaffrey throughout season 98.
So under a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Borlase onto Grant. Over to Jennifer Borlase. Sinks another on Jenny Borlase. 42 goals from 46 attempts in the first 3 quarters of this match. As the timekeeper gets out of her chair, very little time for the Sandpipers to score another one in this quarter. Avellino knew the timekeeper was out of her chair and tried for the long pass, but it wasn't successful. So the difference is 28 at the end of the 3rd quarter. A great match so far for the Adelaide Ravens, who lead the Sydney Sandpipers 61-33. Grant onto Cobb. Colbeck breaks free of Roberts. Oh, Danny Grant lands heavily there. She was in the air and not happy about contact at all.
No, she had committed up in the air, body was twisted. She was pushed offline, but she had the penalty pass and could be happy with the result because the Ravens score once again. 63 plays 36 more onto Avellino. And that was meant for Sloane, but it was a quick offload and Sloane was nowhere near the post.
So Tucker now for the Ravens. Long ball onto Grant. And a long high ball onto Colbeck, but just a little too high for Anna. Harvey with the throw in for the Sandpipers. Onto O'Connor. Uses McCaffrey. Great work again from Trudy Henderson. She extended herself well, brought the ball down for her team. So they're now in attack through Grant. Onto Borlase.
Henderson finding her niche here within the Ravens. She has played a lot of her netball in at centre. Seen her play at wing attack, but good position for Trudy Henderson. Wing defence. She turns over that ball quite effortlessly at times. 64 plays 36 now as O'Connor loses her footing, but she's back up.
Cobb over the top into Colbeck. Was looking for Borlase there, but Harvey has come up with it for the Sandpipers. Roberts onto McCaffrey. O'Connor.
Wing attack.
Sloane. Back to McCaffrey at the centre position. Good hands from Sloane, quickly onto Avellino. Natalie Avellino with her 2nd goal. Adelaide Ravens 64, the Sydney Sandpipers 37. As we have a look at the quarter by quarter, you can really see how the Ravens have taken a hold of this match. 19 played 13 in the 1st quarter. Then the lead blew out to 19 in the 2nd quarter. 40 played 21. And then they were ahead by 28 in that 3rd quarter. 61 played 33. More for the Sandpipers. Onto Avellino. Was looking for Sloane again, but the defenders for the Ravens got in the way. So Grant onto Cobb.
Browning and Tucker really shutting down the vision for Avellino. Into Sloane. Borlase once again. 45 at the moment from 50. Make that 46 from 51. And 65 to the Adelaide Ravens, plays 37, Sydney Sandpipers.
Monica, I suppose the tendency would be for a team so far ahead to perhaps sit back on their laurels, but the Ravens really looking here like they're going to forge ahead with this and make that margin as big as they can.
The headset is quite different, even though the margin is, at the moment, 65 plays 37. There's always the drive to score more because they know going into the semis now that it really is all about consolidating, ensuring that they're cutting down the unforced errors. And it's good shooting practice for both Colbeck and Borlase.
Sloane puts that one in for the Sandpipers. 66 plays 38. And Pat Micken doing a good job of rotating her shooters as well, giving Anna Colbeck court time.
She's got the experience of Borlase. She works with that, and she's got the 2 up-and-coming shooters in Hupperts and Colbeck, and both of those have performed quite well. Great pass there from Avellino to Sloane. She couldn't finish it off. Borlase being able to hand down her experience as such, and Colbeck, quite a different player to Hupperts as well. Hupperts very fiery, Colbeck very centred, very balanced, and you can see not that animated as well.
Great pass in from Natalie Avellino to Natalie Sloane. resulted in a goal for the Sandpipers. 67 plays 39 with 9 minutes 20 remaining in the match. And a Colbeck makes that 68 for the Ravens. McCaffrey. High ball from Sloan onto McCaffrey. The contact, though, on Henderson. Maybe she's been called for offside.
Really was too slow a ball in the pocket. It gave time for Henderson to look at it, really run at it. The Sydney Sandpipers take the goal. They're on 40 at the moment, trailing the Adelaide Ravens, who are on 68.
Grant into Borlase. A few quick passes. And Borlase with the goal. Edging her way closer to 50 goals, Jennifer Borlase. She's on 48 for the evening. The Adelaide Ravens, 69. Play the Sydney Sandpipers, 40. Moore looking to get it into Sloan. Tucker got hands on it first, though. It will be a throw-in to the Sandpipers. Sloan cracked her fingers there, I think. She was just... She was just flexing her fingers as Natalie Avellino gets a bit of treatment under the goal. 3 from 3 in this fourth quarter for Natalie Avellino. She's moved into that goal attack position.
Colbeck and Borlase and Grant, but it goes the way of Roberts. She stole that. Good work from Victoria Roberts, Moore and Avellino. Avellino, the creator, we've seen her in previous games really try and move that ball and take the space and give something for the defenders to look at and chase. 69 plays, 42. Good hands again from Henderson, but offside in the process. Staying with Sloan. Semi-bounce to Avellino. Long shot from Avellino, but Sloan takes the rebound and takes the Sydney Sandpipers to 43. So they've narrowed that margin down from the third quarter break. It was a 28-goal margin at the end of the third term, and now we have 26 goals the difference. So Sydney Sandpipers winning this fourth term to date.
The difference really has been, it's been a lot quicker from the Sandpipers in this fourth quarter. Natalie Avellino really moving in circle and in her quarter. Sloan there with the goal with 7 minutes remaining in the match. The Ravens 69, the Sandpipers 44. Sandpipers just clawing a few back here. But that one goes astray. Alison Tucker on the ready for the Ravens.
It was actually pushed out of Avellino's hand. I think a Ravens player ran past as she was ready to offload and deflected the ball, so that's why it fell the way of Tucker.
As Colbeck takes the tumble, but she's up back on her feet. That's 70 goals for the Adelaide Ravens, and the crowd appreciating it here at Etsa Park. Sydney Sandpipers on 44. Borlase, that's her 50th. Jennifer Borlase, 50 goals for the match. The Ravens have 71. Borlase 50 out of 55 attempts. Avellino, good hands again to Sloan. Quick work, 71 plays 45.
I'd love to know what that sign means. Grant holds one finger up as she steps into the centre circle. And I don't know what it means, whether it's one of the goalies, Colbeck's move or Borlase's move, but he's done it a few times throughout the game.
We'll have to look into that one before the semi-final next week.
I don't think we will. Give away a bit of inside information. South Australians need all the help they can get at the moment.
Oh, Monica, I think you're being a little biased at this point. Natalie Sloan brings up her 30th goal from 37 attempts. It's been a good performance from Sloan tonight. She just hasn't had the opportunities or been backed up by her partners to date in the match. Jennifer Borlase, that one just bounces back out, but the Ravens have managed through Ordine Cobb to regain possession. 73, the Adelaide Ravens, the Sydney Sandpipers 46.
Oh, great work. Avellino balked it. She drew the player. Tucker went out and Sloan was all by herself in the goal circle. So 73 now plays 47 with 4 3/4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Look at Borlase, she balked it. Browning went forward. Tucker also went forward, expecting the player to drop on the circle, and Sloan left alone all by herself.
Great work there from Avellino. As we see Danny Grant Bit of attention there from Katrina McCaffrey, who's getting some court time here for the Sandpipers. Borlase has only missed 6 in the entire match, 52 from 58.
Jill McIntosh would be pretty happy with that outcome from Jennifer Borlase. Sloane still looks like she's enjoying this game, 32 from 39. So whilst at the moment the Ravens on 74 play the Sydney Sandpipers on 48, Sloane can take a lot of pride in her performance here tonight. She's put the majority of shots up. Borlase centres it once again for the Ravens, 75, plays 48. Jennifer Borlase, 53 from 59, 89%. Anna Colbeck coming on in the third term, 10 from 15 at 66%.
More out to McCaffrey, who has contacted.
Oh, contact goes the other way.
Contact goes against McCaffrey, in fact, on Henderson.
Here we go into the pocket. Henderson drops back onto it. And I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either. Sandpipers now through O'Connor, out to Moore, Avellino, onto McCaffrey. Good work from McCaffrey there to dish it back to Avellino quickly as she was on the move. Natalie Sloane, 32 goals from 39 attempts there at 82%. Natalie Avellino, 4 goals from 5 attempts at 80%. Great work from Harvey as Borlase went to take the shot. Harvey was in the air and gets possession for the Sandpipers. O'Connor onto Sloane. Avellino. Solid goal from Natalie Avellino. As you see Danielle Harvey on your screens, it was a great attempt, great deflection from her that got the possession for the Sandpipers that allowed them to get their last goal. So the Sandpipers again on attack here, into Sloane. She was off balance. Time's been called with 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Tucker's down. Looks like an ankle.
She had a good performance against Vicky Wilson last week, and once again here tonight.
She's walking off very gingerly, Alison Tucker. The crowd appreciates her effort for the match, but it's not looking good. Obviously, with such a commanding lead, there's no way Pat Micken is going to risk leaving Tucker. So we have a replacement on court in
Amy Roberts.
Amy Roberts has come on for the injured Alison Tucker, who is still sitting on the sideline in great distress. And not a good end to the game for the Ravens. They were cruising up to this point. 76 goals, plays the Sandpipers 51. As we see the physio for the Adelaide Ravens, Karen Tannebring, working on Alison Tucker's leg. Contact is on Sloane. So Amy Roberts gets some court time. She's got 1:30 to play in this match. Cobb onto Borlase. It's kind of put a dampener on the spirit here at Etzer Park. The crowd's gone quiet. The injury to Alison Tucker, really an awful way to end the match. Obstruction on Harvey. Colbeck will get another attempt. Harvey will stand aside. Anna Colbeck, 12 goals for the match out of 17, but 77 plays 51 with under a minute remaining. Borlase out to Harvey. Grant, that is. Back to Borlase. And all net for Jennifer Borlase. She's finishing this match as she started. 54 goals from 61 attempts. And again, possession is going to the Ravens. Call was it hadn't gone out of court yet when Avellino got a hand to it. Cobb into Colbeck.
Obstruction, shuttle pass.
Colbeck will get another chance for that one. Just seconds remaining in this match. as Roberts comes down with the intercept, but Henderson with another turnover to the Ravens as the timekeeper runs to catch up with the umpire, and in fact that is full time here at Exeter Park. The Adelaide Ravens with a very convincing performance here against the Sydney Sandpipers. The Adelaide Ravens 78, Sydney Sandpipers 51, but of course a dampener on this victory in the fact that Alison Tucker is still sitting on the sideline with an injury as both teams form up in a huddle. Great sportsmanship there to see Vicky Roberts run over to Alison Tucker to see how she's doing. They're having a bit of a laugh. Tucker is looking a little more relaxed as the ice goes on to the injury. Team statistics for the match. The penalties, Sydney Sandpipers 54, the Adelaide Ravens 21. That was the statistic that told the story of the match. Intercepts 12 for the Sandpipers, 11 for the Ravens. Turnovers 43 for the Sydney Sandpipers, 28 to the Ravens. The attempts, look at how many the Ravens put up, 94. They converted 78 of those. They put up the Sandpipers put up 67, quite a deal less, and they converted 51. So that final score, the Adelaide Ravens 78, the Sydney Sandpipers 51, and Monica Kraftcheck is standing by with the Adelaide coach, Pat Micken.
Thanks, Simone. Pat Micken, I was asked at the start of the game if I were Pat Micken, what would I instruct my players to do?
What did you say?
Tell me, was I right?
Well, of course, it was all about maintaining the momentum that we've got at the moment. We are playing pretty good, and I think the players feel that they are playing near their potential, and it was all about maintaining that as the solid foundations going into the finals.
Against the Firebirds last week, you came out slowly at the start of the first quarter and the second quarter, but it was a different story here tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and we did learn from that. We've in fact said before the game that we don't want to come in at half-time and feel like we haven't made any defensive impact, that we had to do it at the start, and the players really responded well.
Grant had a good game, ball ace, sensational shooting. Huppert's assisted her, so did Colbeck. You happy with your forward line?
Yeah, our forward line is playing very well. I mean, evidenced by our high scores of late. Jenny continues to be a beautiful target out there, but it's very important that we get the ball through the goal attack's hands, and both Anna Colbeck and Fiona Hupperts are doing that very well, being a strong target in their own right.
How's Alison looking for next week's semi?
Sore. Yeah, I think she'll probably have to rest at least one night this week, but she's playing very well. She's on top of her game, and I'm sure she'll be there next week.
Now, you know I'm a South Australian. I'm not very biased. Good luck next week.
I love you too. Thank you.
Next week, we'll bring you all of the excitement of the semi-final series. Next Friday night, Monica and I will be in Sydney for the match between 3rd and 4th on the competition ladder. All the action from that can be seen Friday night at 10:30. Then the following Saturday, Steve and Anne will have the game between 1st and 2nd on the competition ladder. That's an important one. The winner of that match will go straight through to the grand final. You can see all of the action Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock. I'm Simone Thurtell on behalf of Monica Kraftcheck and all of the ABC crew. Have a great Sunday.
I am Gerda Daglies.
For some, acting is in the blood,
I can be appalling.
while for others, it's somewhat more of a challenge.
I'm not doing the play.
If you spoil this, you will be on the couch for the rest of your life.
Sea Change, 7:30 tonight.
This week, how to select the best deciduous trees for winter planting, making the most amazing compost using straw bales, and the wonderful world of the acid-loving plants. The overwhelming majority of garden plants seem to be quite happy growing in slightly acidic or even more alkaline conditions. But there's one group of plants which are very particular. They insist on completely acidic soil, otherwise they won't grow at all. And it so happens they're among the most beautiful and spectacular of all the flowering plants. And that's what we're going to deal with later in the programme. The acid lovers and how to get them to grow properly. But first of all, let's go to Perth, and it's garden planning of a special...
To 1, 43 plays 42. Great intercept there from Matthews at full stretch. She tried to keep it in court because she was going out. Unfortunately, back to Stewart and on to Joe Morgan.
Another goal's been scored.
So we're level again, 43 all, with just over 7.5 minutes remaining in this match. Morgan, too strong. Dendecker's gone down. She's going to call for time, Michelle Dendecker. The Swifts have taken the lead here for, I can't remember since when they had the last lead. It would have been back in the first quarter. Dendecker looks to have twisted an ankle here. So it's high drama here at the State Sports Centre in Sydney. 1 goal the difference. The Swifts 44 play the Firebirds 43.
There's Morgan. She takes it from Wag, goes up again. Dendecker goes over. Yeah, can't see it, but I think that she's actually rolled over on her foot. Yeah, is on top of Joe Morgan's foot. You can see she's twisted her ankle. She would have her ankle strapped.
And Michelle Dendecker, we can see 6 penalties against her, but she's got 4 intercepts out of the 14. She's only given away 1 turnover. And no infringements for Michelle Dendecker. She has played strongly tonight as she gathers her girls around her. They have a bit of a chant, get themselves pumped and focused again. Tori Saywell will start play. Again for us. Saywell gets us underway again. But a great intercept from Clark there. Good anticipation. Matthews for the Firebirds, through Clark. Finds Bothwell, onto Wilson. Long ball across court to Clark. Finds Deva. Deva short with the shot. She needs to step up and support Vicky Wilson in this final quarter. Belinda Deva.
Good attempt there by Leanne Matthews. Coming through, playing strong. She's having another go at it. Stewart holds it up. Oh, just can't beat that. That drop of Joe Morgan's is done to perfection. Play on, rebound. Well done, Lisa Arthey. Tapped it on to her coach in Dendecker. Arthey gathers it again. Oh, good hands there by Katrina Wag.
And what a great game we've got here. 6.5 minutes remaining, just 1 goal in it. 44 to the Swifts, plays 43 the Firebirds. Vicky Wilson looking to level it, and she does. All confidence, Vicky Wilson, 44 apiece. Firebirds with the centre pass. Clark onto Deva, onto Bothwell. Very congested out there in the circle.
Barney's contact, wing defence.
Good work between Bothwell and Deva there. Looking to find Wilson. The contact is on Liz Ellis, though. Wilson walks it away from Ellis and makes the goal. So the Firebirds out by 1 again. Vicky Wilson, what a fantastic effort. 35 goals from her. Stewart onto Saywell. High ball again into Joe Morgan.
On the arm.
Lisa Arthey giving it everything, but she's given away the contact. Morgan levels the scores. The crowd goes wild. 45 apiece.
Dendecker onto Deva, comes out, held it up, spotted the pass. If she'd let it go, it would have been intercepted. Well done, Wilson. been there 1,000 times before. Drops in, drops back out. Ellis takes the rebound. Saywell down, back up again. Clark intercepts. Wilson wants it, is given it, focuses, sets it up, and shoots it for the Queensland Firebirds.
And Karen Clark, she's had 2 important intercepts in this final quarter. As we see Morgan once again take the pass and make good the goal, 46 all. Joe Morgan composed for the Sydney Swifts. Almost a turnover there, but the contact was on, well, Stewart and Wag both, no, Williams and Wag out there. The Firebirds on their way through Bothwell onto Deva. She's under the post for this one. Liz Ellis gives it everything, but Belinda Deva, an important goal there. She takes the Firebirds out to a 1-goal lead. Clark standing aside. Saywell tries to find Stewart.
Contact over the top, pass or shot, in.
Arthey with the contact.
Morgan, good rebound. Oh!
What a stretch from Joe Morgan. Off balance, one-handed, one-footed. She gets it in.
There's Stewart, puts it up. Look at this here. Morgan. Ever so, just so balanced, so easy.
Of course, she'll tell you it's a shot she practices often. Vicky Wilson at the other end. Keeps us level. Oh, in fact, for Queensland Firebirds, she takes us out by 1, 48-47. Wag to Stewart.
Morgan again, sorry, Simone. Saywell back across the circle was Wag. Advantage to Morgan. Quick play there from Stewart. Good hands from both of those shooters, and the Sydney crowd like what they see. 48 all with just over 3 minutes remaining in this last quarter.
Joe Morgan, 17 goals from 22 attempts. As we see Clark gets it to Wilson eventually. Wilson with the long-range goal, and it's all net again. How well does this lady handle pressure? Stewart onto Wag.
Holding onto a skirt, keeper, pass or shot.
And Arthey trying everything she can, holding onto Joe Morgan's skirt there. Morgan takes us back to 49 all. It's level again. Bothwell onto Deva. Out to Clark. Wilson. Back to Clark. Gilmore with the infringement. Wilson to take the shot. And again, Firebirds edge ahead. 2 minutes remaining in this final quarter.
Body drop side.
And it's equal again. 50 plays 50. What a fantastic match we've seen here this afternoon. Well, tonight, Dendeka back to Clark. On to Deva. She's out of the circle. Back to Dendeka. Tries to find Bothwell. Bothwell gives it everything. She's on the ground. Dendeka regathers. Back to Clark. Liz Ellis, what a stunning performance. She's out of goal, flying through the air. She takes that intercept. And what a crucial move that was. At the other end, Lisa Arthey gets the better of Joe Morgan in the air, but the Swifts with the throw-in. Stewart. Onto Morgan. Morgan takes the Swifts into the lead. 51 plays 50. And more importantly, the Swifts have the centre pass. Onto Wag. Less than a minute remaining in the match. Saywell onto Stewart. High ball to Morgan. She gathers it in. 52 plays 50. And in the dying moments of the match, Joe Morgan has taken the Swifts out to a 2-goal lead. Time has been called by Louise McMeeking. But we're underway again. Bockwell onto Wilson. This is crucial. Vicky Wilson gets it back to 1. 52 plays 51. The Timekeeper's still in a seat at this stage, so there is time left for the Firebirds. But the Swifts have possession through Wag. Onto Saywell. Morgan.
Pass or shot.
Morgan misses with the shot, but she'll get a second go. And she sinks it. And she's happy with it.